Namaste, Hamesha Kusrovitia. I am JVN Dr. Minakshi, Assistant Professor in Department of Shalakya-Tantra, Faculty of Ayurvedic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University. Today in this session, we will discuss a new type of conjunctivitis, which is a cicatricial conjunctivitis. So, under this topic, we will study the 4 other topics, which are the ocular mucous membrane pemphigoid and Stevens-Johnson syndrome, toxic epidermal necrolysis, and secondary cicatricial conjunctivitis. So, first is the ocular mucous membrane pemphigoid. Here are the pictures of the clinical pictures of the ocular mucous membrane pemphigoid. You can see in these 4 pictures the adhesions of the bulbar conjunctiva with the lids, palpebral conjunctiva. So, what is the etiology of ocular mucous membrane pemphigoid, which in short is known as OMMP? It is thought to be a type 2 hypersensitivity reaction involving BM of epithelial cells of conjunctiva, other mucosal surfaces, and even the skin. If you talk about the age, usually this ocular mucous membrane pemphigoid occurs in the age more than above the 60 years of age, but may occur in adolescence also. So, and predispositions to sex, the disease slightly more common in female than male. Then we come to the pathology of this disease. It is a chronic inflammatory subepithelial blistering disorder with subsequent cicatrization of the involved mucosa. Then the clinical features of the ocular mucous membrane pemphigoid. There are the 2 types of features, basically the ocular features and the systemic features. In the ocular features, there are the symptoms and signs. In symptoms, there is insidious onset of bilateral redness, foreign body sensation, watering, photophobia. Then the signs are inflammatory signs, cicatrization signs, corneal signs, and lid sequelae. In the inflammatory signs, we will see the hyperemia, chronic papillae, subconjunctival vesicles, which later ulcerate. And in the cicatrization signs, we will see the loss of plica semilunaris and fornicis. There is formation of symblepharon, usually inferior, and ankyloblepharon, ending in the severe dry eye syndrome. Then we will see the corneal signs in the form of superficial punctate keratitis and secondary microbial keratitis. There can be corneal neovascularization and even perforation. Then lid sequelae. The patient may have the trichiasis and entropion. These were all the ocular features, the symptoms and signs. Then we come to the systemic features of the disease. The mucosa of oral cavity, the anus, vagina, and urethra may be involved. Then desquamative gingivitis is common association. Next, cutaneous vesicles, bullae, and the scar formation may occur. Then involvement of trachea and esophagus is potentially life-threatening. Then we come to the differential diagnosis of ocular mucous membrane pemphigoid. It is need to be differentiated from the Stevens-Johnson syndrome and the other cicatrizing disorders. The treatment of ocular mucous membrane pemphigoid is the topical treatment. Second is the systemic immunosuppression, and third is the surgical intervention. First, we will study the topical treatment. In the topical treatment, we can give the tear substitutes to the patient because patient may be suffering from the dry eye syndrome due to the symblaphron and encycloblastron, and we should give the antibiotics to prevent the secondary infection, and we should give the steroids. It reduces the inflammation, but we should take a caution for the corneal melting. Then second treatment plan is the systemic immunosuppression. It suppresses the acute phase of disease. According to the mild, moderate, and severe, according to the severity of the disease, we should give the medicines. Under the mild disease, we should give the dapsone 1 milligram per kilogram of the body weight. In case of the moderate disease, we should give the antimetabolites such as methotrexate and azathioprine. In case of the severe disease, we should use the intravenous methylprednisolone with or without cyclophosphamide for 4 days, and which is followed by the oral prednisolone. The last treatment of ocular mucous membrane pemphigoid is the surgical intervention. This surgical intervention is required in the late stage, and it also depending upon the condition. So if there, we can go for the punctal occlusion of dry eye, and we can do the silicone hydrogel contact lens use. Next, we can go the ocular surface reconstruction for advanced scarring, and we can go for the corneal transplantation, and we can go for the keratoprosthesis in extensive corneal and ocular surface scarring. Next, cicatricial conjunctivitis is the Stevens-Johnson syndrome (SJS) and the toxic epidermal necrosis, which is TEN. The SJS and TEN, which is also known as Lyell syndrome, are the acute mucocutaneous blistering diseases usually associated with severe ocular complications. The etiology of these two diseases, Stevens-Johnson syndrome and toxic epidermal necrosis, is as follows. Type 3 hypersensitivity response to certain drugs such as sulfonamides, anticonvulsants, and allopurinol, and infectious agents such as mycoplasma, pneumonia, herpes simplex, and adenovirus. Then there is a clinical picture of these two diseases, the Stevens-Johnson syndrome and toxic epidermal necrosis, are as follows. We will discuss the clinical features in our next session. Thank you so much. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it soon. Thank you so much. Where the retina ends. Here the retina is firmly attached both to the vitreous and the choroid. The pars plana extends fairly from the oral serratum. Then the microscopic structure. Retina consists of 3 types of cells, and the synapse is arranged in the following 10 layers. First layer is the Pigment epithelium or the retinal pigment epithelium. It is the outermost layer of retina. It consists of the single layer of cells containing pigment, and it is firmly adherent to the underlying basal lamina, which is called the Bruch's membrane of the choroid. And there's a term called subretinal space. It is a potential space between the retinal pigment epithelium and the neurosensory retina. There's the anatomy of retina. Then layers of second layer is the layer of rods and cones. Rods and cones transform light energy into the nerve impulses. Rods contain photosensitive substance rhodopsin, whereas the cones contain photosensitive substance iodopsin. The cone cells are helpful in photooptic vision and rod cells in scotopic vision. The cones are about 6.5 million, and rods are about 120 millions. The rods, they're the cylindrical photoreceptors found in the greatest concentration on the edges of the retina. Most common type of receptor allow us to see in low light and provide for peripheral vision. The cones, they are the conical photoreceptors found in greatest concentration near the center of the retina. There are three varieties of cones, each most sensitive to a particular wavelength of light. Blue, green, and red allow for visual acuity and color vision. The external limiting membrane. Fenestrated membrane extending from the oroserato up to the edge of optic disc, and the process of rods and cones pass through it. Next layer is the outer nuclear layer. It made up of the nuclei of the rods and cones. The cones nuclei have the dimension 6 to 7 micrometer, and rod nuclei is 5.5 micrometer. These nuclei lie in a single layer next to the external limiting membrane. Rod nuclei form the bulk of this layer except that cone dominated foveal region. Next layer, the fifth layer, is the outer plexiform layer. This layer is made of synapses between the rods, spherules, and cone pedicles with the dendrites of bipolar cells. Bipolar cells are the first order neurons of visual pathway. The next sixth layer is the inner nuclear layer. It is very thin and is similar to the outer nuclear layer. It consists of various type of cells like bipolar cells, horizontal cells, amacrine cells, Mueller cells, central retinal vessels, the glial cells, and this layer disappears at fovea. Next, seventh layer is the inner plexiform layer. It consists of the synapse between bipolar cell and dendrites of ganglion cell. It is absent at fovea. The eighth layer is the ganglion cell layer. It mainly contains the cell bodies of ganglion cells, which are the second order neurons of visual pathway. There are two types of ganglion cells, midget ganglion cell and postsynaptic ganglion cells. The midget ganglion cells are present in macro region with the dendrite of each such cell synapses with the axon of single bipolar cell. The polysynaptic ganglion cells lie predominantly in peripheral retina, and each cell may synapse with up to 100 bipolar cells. The ninth layer is the nerve fiber layer, the stratum opticum, which consists of the axons of the ganglion cells which pass through the lamina fibrosa to form the optic nerve. The next layer is the tenth layer, the internal limiting membrane. It is the innermost layer and it separates the retina from vitreous. It is formed by the union of terminal extensions of the Mueller's fibers and is essentially a basement membrane. The next slide is of the blood supply of the retina. The outer four layers of retina is supplied by the choriocapillaries, and the inner six layers, and they gets its supply from the central retinal artery, which is a branch of the ophthalmic artery. The outer plexiform layer gets partly by the both the above arteries. The fovea is avascular and is mainly supplied by choriocapillaries. The inner portion of retina is perfused by branches of the central retinal artery. In 30% of eyes, a cilio-retinal artery, branching from the ciliary circulation, supplies part of inner retina, mainly the macular region. The retinal blood vessels, mainly the inner blood-retinal barrier. This physiological barrier is due to the single layer of non-fenestrated endothelial cells, whose tight junctions are impervious to tracer substances such as fluorescein. So here completes our anatomy of retina. Thank you so much. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it soon.